Welcome back to the Black Hole of Real Estate. Just got my ears pinned back and ready to go today because we start the second 100 episodes. We are on episode 101 today. Last week was our 100th episode, and knowing that only 6% of all podcasts ever make it to number 100, I am poised and excited to be able to be here today to talk some real estate. And I'll let you know a few of the things I see going on the market that might just be interesting to you. The interest rates that we were hoping to see drop, we got a little curveball. And we didn't get the drop that we were expected this past week. And it doesn't have anybody scared. I think that we've become comfortable with these rates such that they are, and nobody's really looking for 2 and 3% anymore. They know it was a thing, and now it's not a thing. And the potential dip that was coming in there, it's coinciding with no holdback in pricing. Pricing is inching ever forward. Rates are remaining, I'd say, stable for the moment. But there's an appetite for buyers that are out there purchasing properties. And it's not unlike some of the things we've seen over the last few years. Maybe not all the multiple offers and bidding wars, but well-priced homes are selling quick. And there's an appetite for that. I know in our business, we are seeing a number of properties going on the market, and the fear factor, which was so prevalent the last few years, where the sellers are absolutely just terrified to go on the market. Our home's going to sell in a day. We won't be able to find anything, and we're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on our fifth best option, or not have a place to go to, or stressing the closing date. So this market is different, because the listing inventory is ever increasing. I'd also let you know that right now the veteran agents, the ones that are in tune and they're using all the basics, they're communicating, they're doing a really good job with their market analysis, they're staying in touch with past clients, they are ruling this market right now. It's disproportionate. The vast majority of deals are probably done by the top 20% of all agents. And while it's not unlike past years, I think it's actually accelerating. I think people are looking for a savvy agent. They're checking reviews. They're looking for somebody with hundreds of reviews, not dozens of reviews. And we're seeing a massive shift because people have options. They realize it when they're going out there, and it's not the cheapest one that wins. It's who can get you the most money net at closing. And I think this is smart for most sellers. You can be tantalized by someone who will cut their commission, whatever that negotiation is. Let's not cross that bridge today. But let's just say the commission is something that's agreed upon by the owner and the agent or the broker. And cheapest isn't always the best. I mean, it's the same reason that people buy, iPhones and they're loyal to Starbucks and premier products. They want something that's extraordinary. They want that experience, and also they want the results that come along with it. And the old adage is, do you trust an agent to negotiate your home for top dollar when they'll gladly cut their commission in a heartbeat? And I think we're seeing that right now. So we're going to stay away from the commission wars. That's another day. It's somebody else's podcast. It's definitely somebody else's lawsuit. It's not mine. But we know that inventory is increasing, and it's interesting to watch because the fear is now gone. People are ready to move. They've sat in their house for 3, 4, 5 years, and they're done playing scared. They're ready to make these moves, and it's creating an interesting market. There's another thing that's back, so to speak. The contingent offer works in this market. And I can point to many recent examples where someone had a home to sell that either wasn't on the market or about to go on the market, but not under contract yet, where owners are actually taking a look, say, listen, you've got a nice home in a nice area, you want to buy our house, that's great. We're willing to wait just a little bit extra time to get the money right and the timing right to make a deal. And I can tell you that the anxiety level when somebody says, I need to make an offer contingent on sale of my home, it was not impossible, but it was not easy by any stretch of the imagination to get an offer to be competitive when people are throwing cash at deals and getting rid of inspection periods and giving up every kind of liberty there is and protection in the contract. So even now a contingent offers on the sale of a home can actually work and work really well. And it's also a marriage of convenience because maybe the same person who's still looking for a property hasn't seen the right one yet. They're okay with a contingent offer because those closing dates, if both parties agree, they can be moved up. I suppose they can be pushed out as well. So the marriage of convenience and contingent offer, well, it has a place in a market such as this. Who knew? Let me walk back to interest rates. When we look historical levels of interest rates, this is where rates are now, is where they've quite often been. And many buyers in this market are actually accustomed. Maybe they haven't moved in 10 years. The rates today are about what they bought at 10 years ago. Unless they refinance, they probably never enjoyed a 2 or 3% rate because the timing of their move was such that they just weren't in the market during that time. The amount of cash buyers in the market is also taking away a piece of this interest rate bias that I don't know that's really so much of an issue anymore. I think we're used to it now. We're 18 months into it. We're way past the bottom of the market, which to me would have been November 1st of 2022. We're way past that. And I believe the pain of not being able to move far outweighs the pain of an interest rate or something else because we know how to work around that. There's enough examples. Refinance down the road. Marry the house, date the rate. Okay, that's fine. It's absolutely a way to refinance. A lot of the mortgage companies have gotten smart. Hey, we'll refinance you, no fees on our side. Somewhere down the road within 3 or 5 years that the rates float down. The VA's always had an interest rate reduction loan will float down, no cost, no credit check, no nothing. So there's a number of ways to let that rate float down or get lower if you're going to stay in the home long term. If you're only in the home for 2-3 years, you're not really going to get in the part of the loan where you pay a lot of interest off. So if you ever look at an amortization table, you'll find the first 5 years it almost all goes to interest, or at least the vast majority. So we're fighting over things that really don't need to be fought over if we're really focused on that. The other day somebody says, what's the interest rate? And I said, well, you're a renter. I says, it's got to be better than that. And I'm like, well, why is that? I don't have any interest. I go, actually, you have 100% interest because you're renting. None of it goes to principal. None of it goes to ownership. I think if rates are 6 or 7%, you're at least 93, 94% to the good. And it's something to think about. And I know that the cost of renting is higher than the cost of ownership, even with the rates such as they are right now. So I think we're going to be okay in the interest rate. I think it's less of a topic. I think inventory is less of a topic right now. Even new construction. We're starting to see a few deals out there. We're seeing quicker turn times, and not everything's 18 months to wait. I think the builders are catching up, and now we're getting into a market where it's going to behave different. So maybe mid-year, rates will soften a little bit. It's not that far away. And as inventory levels continue to rise and there's more options available with new construction, I think it's going to get really interesting as this year progresses. So if you've been on the fence about selling or buying or just moving in general, my belief is there's more options out there for you. And it wasn't any one thing that got us into this situation. It's not any one thing that's going to get us necessarily out of it, this discomfort. But there's a convergence of good things that are in this real estate market now for most people. So it should get easier and better. If you were waiting for the prices to crash or drop for the last 18 months, I think the evidence is pretty strong that it never happened and it's not likely to happen. But I think you'll still be able to make a move that's comfortable for yourself and navigate the current market. Rates will probably get a little bit lower. That might help the situation. It probably will at least offset the increase in prices. The last thing I want to talk about is we spent a lot of time on the professionals in the industry and what they are experiencing right now. And, I got some comments in the last week, and what I would share right now is, hey, that was a bit of a wake-up call. Get on my game and to be better and to just master the fundamentals and be very good on the basics and just communicate properly. Some people absolutely
have mentioned they got a little lazy on a few of the habits, and in an easy market, it's easy for that to happen. And now that the market is different, I think the cream is rising to the top. So if you're in the market looking for a professional agent, you have a lot of good options out there right now. And some of the ones that may not have been as good of an option for whatever reason, they're leveling up too. So I believe the customer service, competition makes it good. I think customer service is going to be far better this year than maybe the last couple of years. I think that's a really good size win for everybody in the industry as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Number 101 is in the books. This is Ron Wysakarski for the Black Hole of Real Estate.